All right, we are live. Welcome to the show. I guess, should we officially call it Lunch Money, or should we just leave it hanging?
Let's
Lunch Money.
It's
Lunch
official.
Money. It's Tuesday, June 17th, 2025. We are live Tuesdays at noon, so we hope you'll join us. I'm joined by my co-host and aunt, Melissa.
Yes, hello everyone.
Welcome to the show. On this channel, we talk about personal finance and money, and I hope to inspire you, encourage you, and educate you along your financial journey. So thanks for being here. Okay, so today's topic is 3 types of expenses and what to watch out for with each of them. That doesn't sound exciting? It's exciting to me.
Well, tell us why it is exciting.
I actually am really excited about it
Okay.
because when people look at budgeting, they tend to focus on, and hey, Walt, hi, how's it going, man? Thanks for joining. When they're looking at budgets, they tend to focus specifically on like expenses that they're spending. Like, for instance, groceries, eating out, those sorts of things. And it's really easy to cut those back.
Yeah.
But they're the least effective.
Really?
And they impact your life the most every day. So anyway, we're going to get to it.
Okay.
I think it's really exciting.
Now you got my attention.
But first, let's visit a bit.
Okay, let's
visit a bit. Let's visit with Walt and hang out a little bit. Walt, I'd love to know what you're up to this week and how life's going. For me, one really exciting thing I mentioned last week was I'm getting into shrimp and containers and also terrariums. This is my hobby era of life. Like, I'm just like getting into so many hobbies, and it's actually really, really fun. So anyway, terrariums, you need moss for terrariums. So I bought some sphagnum moss. I thought it was sphagnum moss, but then I actually looked at the word and it's SPH, and then I did the pronunciation. It's sphagnum moss.
Wow.
So I bought some. Now, this is confessions of a cheapskate. This is a recovering cheapskate right here. And so I want to talk it through. I bought sphagnum moss on Amazon. First off, look at the picture I sent you, Melissa, of it on Amazon. I'm going to put it up on the screen. This is what it looked like. How big approximately would you think that package would be?
Oh, let's see. I would see it as like the size of a paper.
And how thick?
3 inches.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. So that's
This
is what I got.
Seeing it.
I
would be sad. Yeah.
I was disappointed. I was very disappointed. So
well, show them how thin it is.
It's extremely thin. I mean, it is 1/4 of an inch thin. I mean, it lists the approximate ounces as 3.5 ounces, but
that
the picture seems to be bigger, and it's hard to get scale because there's a plant in the background. And so anyway, I got it and I was a little disappointed. Then I started like, this was $4.63. Like, this is not a lot of money, but my mind immediately goes to, was I ripped off? What could I get at Lowe's? And at Lowe's, you can get twice as much for $6. So I'm like paying $2. So I'm spending all of this mental energy, like thinking like, do I return this? Do I go get the thing at Lowe's? I'm going to research the product at Lowe's and make sure it's the thing that I need. And then I just realized, Tim,
let it go.
It's okay. It's not worth the $2. Now, I ended up making my moss, and I used
so you don't need
like
much.
1/3 of it.
Maybe they know that.
It made like a half of a bucket, a half of a full bucket of moss. Like,
so what does it like pull apart?
It expand like this is like highly like feel it. It's hard, and the moss,
almost like
so
cardboard.
it's plenty. It is way more than I needed. It just didn't look like very much, and it was surprising and a little disappointing. So anyway, it all worked out. I got over it, but here's one of my little so you can bring the sphagnum moss back to life.
Okay.
So
you have to water it?
Yeah, you water it, you dampen it, you put it, you give it some sunlight and indirect sunlight, because you don't want direct sunlight because that'll dry it out. And so this will slowly come back to life. Now I can also use it
green?
and be green.
Oh,
and be green and growing. I can also use it as a substrate to cultivate other mosses from my backyard. So really exciting.
Wow.
That's my cheapskate moment and my hobby insight. Pretty soon the office is going to be covered in terrariums and moss and bugs and shrimp. So that's that. I got an email from Chase this week that just reminded me of a little tip that I wanted to give to everybody. And it was, use your card, and it gave the card number to keep your account open. Now, I'm not sure I want to keep this account open, but if you did, because when an account closes, like let's say that I did nothing and they close this credit card account, it can affect your credit. Yeah. So especially if you're someone who has iffy credit, or you're thinking about making a big purchase that you're going to use credit for, like buying a house or buying a car,
Where you really need to be watching.
you really want it to be good, you may not want this to expire. So I wanted to give a tip on how to keep these cards active, because they will, if you aren't making purchases on them, I don't think there's anything set. Each card may be different, but if you don't use them for a period of time, they will close the account. So what you can do is just take one of your recurring expenses, so like say Netflix, put that on that card, and then set the card up for auto pay, and it'll just automatically pay all the time. It'll keep the card active
So it'll
enough.
charge and then auto pay.
Charge auto pay for the $10 a month. Just put one recurring thing on it. Don't use the card, especially if you're somebody who's decided, hey, I'm not a credit card person. You don't want to use the card, cut up the card, cancel the card. But if you're worried about your credit and you want to keep
a good
the account
idea.
open, just have one recurring charge and auto pay set up, and it'll keep going. So that's a little tip there. And now Ramsey update. We are on a mission to dethrone The Godfather. So I would invite you to like the page or subscribe to the channel, like the video, and help us on our mission. We've gained 2 followers.
Okay,
One
okay.
follower, actually. I think we've lost some games done. So I didn't even update. It was not even worth it to update the slide. So we're at 552, and Dave Ramsey is at 900. I didn't even update his either, but he's at about 1 million. So we're about 1 million, a million to go to help us on that journey to overthrow The Godfather. And we'll move on to today's topic. So I want to go over the 2 types of expenses, which Melissa, I sent you a text with
Yes,
the
you
slides for these, just so you can see them too. And there's 2 major types of expenses, and this is not a fact. This is my opinion and how I categorize expenses. This isn't like something that personal finance people would all say. But there's 2 major types that I wanted to bring your attention to, and then there's a third subtype. So there's flexible expenses and there's rigid expenses. Okay. And some people might call the rigid expenses fixed expenses. Now I did not like that, because fixed expenses makes it sound like you can't do anything about it. It is what it is. Your car payment is what it is. Your house is what it is. And I don't believe that.
Yeah.
They are harder to change, but they're not immutable. They're rigid. You can cut down a tree. That's why I use a tree. You can cut it down, but you're going to need some heavy equipment. You can cut it up into boards. You can
gonna
make
take some
something smaller.
effort.
It's going to take some effort. But then there's the flexible expenses. And those are flexible.
Yeah,
They're
it's
easy to
simple to
change,
change, yeah.
but they're smaller. So we're going to go into the details of each one. And we will start with flexible expenses. These are everyday spending, and they're easy to reduce. So they're going to be things like groceries, coffee, clothes, eating out, right? A lot of the fun stuff,
Yeah.
right? But they don't make up the largest component of our spending.
Can I say something
Yeah.
here as a non-budgeter, non-financial person? This is what budgeting feels like to me, is the goal of budgeting and why it's such a bummer. This is just my own personal opinion.
And this is where I feel like a lot of people focus their time and energy. And it's one of those things like that makes us feel like we're doing something, but we're not having the largest impact that we
Yeah.
can have on our finances. And so that's why I want to shift your focus away. And it's some of the hardest stuff, and it's the least fun stuff. It's not the hardest. It's the most impactful on your daily life.
Yeah.
Right? To not get your coffee once a week, a couple times a week, it can be a real killjoy. Like to not go out to eat with some friends, to always be scrimping on those things. It is emotionally wearing. And it's not just emotionally wearing, it takes a lot of energy and self-control. And so as I'm looking at personal finance, one of my goals is to remove the need for self-control and create systems and a lifestyle that supports our finances, right? And so, so these are smaller. So even if you do cut out all these things, you can only reduce your groceries so much. You could cut out all new clothes. You could cut out coffee, but that's only going to get it so low, right? So let's talk about, this is a subtype. This is the third one. So there's 2 main types. This is a subtype of flexible expenses, and they're sticky expenses. So these would be sticky flexible expenses. So this is discretionary recurring expenses that you are not in a contract for, right? So you could cancel it at any moment, but they're easy to forget about. So these would be things like Netflix, gym memberships, like the gym membership to Planet Fitness that I've had for several years and have not used in over a year, but it's $10 a month.
Yeah, and you're like, maybe I'll go.
Maybe I
I'll go.
want to go.
Yeah.
And if I cancel,
go.
then I'm going to have to pay the
definitely not
sign up
gonna- yeah.
fee again of like $50, and that's 5 months. So I might as well keep it for another 5, whatever. So those are sticky expenses. And so these are just great to be aware of, that they're easy to accumulate, and you almost need to go in every once in a while
And reevaluate.
unstick them, and just say, because it's easy to forget about them and not be utilizing them. I don't, If you're using them and you have the money for them, great.
Yeah.
But if you are not using them and you're paying for them, we want to get that stuff out of
Yeah.
them. So, so those are sticky expenses. You want to be, I recommend being careful about adding these kind of subscriptions, just making sure that you're aware of it. From a business owner side, I love them because they're great for the business.
Yeah.
They are great for the person, I believe, if the person's utilizing them, but they're easy to forget about. So we want to be aware of them. One example of the worst kind of sticky expenses is Sarah was going through the Amazon account and she saw
Yeah.
this charge for some sort of game thing.
What? I've had that happen too.
Yeah, it's from the Amazon Alexa, and we have a 10-year-old, and when he was probably 7.5 years into it,
long has
Alexa's
it
like,
been
"Do you want to
charging?"
sign up for this?"
Yeah. And he said yes.
It was over 12 months,
That's crazy.
and it was like $10 a month.
We had it on my mom's account, not my personal, but yeah.
Yeah, it's so those are the ones that are those will sneak up on you. The other one will be like a app free trial. Like you'll be
yes.
on your device. It has your payment information. It's like, do you want a free trial? And then in the bottom, it's like you will automatically be charged after a week,
Yeah.
7 days, 14 days or whatever. And those kind of things just kind of sneak up and you almost don't even realize that you've signed up
Yeah.
for them. So those are really dangerous. And that's why it's good to kind of evaluate our credit cards every once in a while and evaluate our like app store for subscriptions. So the last category are the rigid expenses. Now, these are difficult to reduce. These are not easy to reduce, but they can have the biggest impact on your finances. This is where people go wrong. So when people start focusing on their money and they start budgeting, they go to the flexible, what did I call them? Yeah, flexible expenses. They go to those first because it's like, all right, I can
all the
reduce.
fun stuff,
How am
yeah.
I supposed to reduce my mortgage? How am I supposed to reduce? But you can, but it's going to take time,
Yeah.
right? And that's why, when we're adding these things, when we're getting a new house, when we're getting a new apartment, when we're getting a new car, we really want to slow down and make sure that we're making the right decision. But then two, sometimes we may overextend ourselves on the rigid expenses side, and then you can't compensate for it
Yeah.
on the flexible
Yeah.
expenses side, or it just takes so much deprivation that it's no fun. So if you're new on this journey and you're saying, hey, I want to get my finances in order, we need to do an audit. You need to like figure out where you're at with your flexible expenses. But then over the next several months to maybe a year or two, you need to figure out, how do I get on a plan to get my rigid expenses under control? And so these would be things, rent, mortgage, car payments, student loans, but it's all the expenses that are associated with them as well. Because when you have a nice car, you have nice car insurance. You have property taxes that are associated with that. When you have a nice house, again, you got that insurance that's going to go with it. Everything, your electric bill. When we moved houses from our first starter house that we were in for 16 years to our new house, our electric bill went up from $200 a month to $500 a month.
Wow.
So that's $300 every month difference. And so if you put yourself in a position where you're overextending yourself, it's not just the house payment, it's the electricity payment, it's the everything.
upkeep, the bigger yard
everything goes up. So this is the area to like, hey, short term, let's reduce some flexible expenses. But long term, we need to come up with a game plan to fix these rigid. And the other component to this that we're not talking about today is income, because that you can either reduce your rigid expenses or increase your income so they become a smaller part of your overall financial picture. We're not talking about that today, but that's that. So if you are interested in this sort of thing, getting your finances under control, budgeting, I have a free course. What it is it is a system for budgeting that does not require receipt tracking. It doesn't require an app. It doesn't require spreadsheets. It's an automated system. And once you set it up,
Set it and forget it.
it's running. You're essentially
I'm
running
doing
it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I
Yep.
mean,
wonderful. Like it's a game changer.
Yeah.
For real. Seriously, a game changer.
we've been doing it for, I think I've started playing around with it and developing it about 2 years ago. And it has really been a game changer for us too. So I want you to have that experience. Go to Tim Gosnell and sign up. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next Tuesday on the channel.